What's up, YouTube, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, just stick around, see if you like what you see, and if you do, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It helps a ton. Today, I just wanted to talk about that game against Bournemouth, right? What in God's name was that game? Okay, United didn't play bad. Bournemouth definitely didn't play bad, right? But for us to come away from that game and all we have to talk about is the referee and the refereeing decisions, it just really annoys me rather than talking about the football, right? How I just don't understand how in 2026, the big old 2026, where there's VAR, you have three officiators on the pitch, four on the sidelines, and then more on VAR, and you still can't come away with just more consistent decision making. Make that make sense. Okay, so if you didn't watch that game against Bournemouth, right? Essentially, United got a penalty. Bruno Fernandes scored. All right. Ahmad was then in the box. Right. He was in the box. He dribbled past one player, and they literally shoved him with two hands, straight up shoved him off the ball. He fell over the ball. Immediate pen. That should be a pen. Referee was right in front of it. Did not call it. Okay. 25 seconds later, Bournemouth score just from the confusion of the decision not to give the pen. I think everyone on the pitch just thought it would be a pen. Bournemouth capitalized, good on them, and they ended up scoring just due to the chaos, right? Now fast forward later in the game, we're talking 81st minute, right? Literally the same scenario. It's a little different. I will give them that. It's a little different in the sense that in this case, the Bournemouth player was the last man. But essentially, Harry Maguire shoved him. Far more soft than Ahmad was shoved. That penalty that they didn't give, that foul that they didn't give, they didn't cause a foul. They shoved him off the ball, they didn't call it. Maguire put two hands on this player. He falls over. They give a pen, and they give Maguire a red card. Make that make sense. I understand. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that that isn't a red card. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that that wasn't a foul. It's a pen. But if you're going to give that pen, you have to have given Ahmad's decision, without a doubt. I understand he wasn't last man. I understand that maybe he wasn't as close to the goal as you would have liked. But he was square enough to take a shot. Maybe it would have been blocked, maybe it wouldn't have. But a foul is a foul. It doesn't matter. If it's inside the 18 box, which it was, if it's inside the penalty box, it has to be a foul, and they didn't give it. Make that make sense. You have two identical scenarios that they did not call. They didn't call the first one, but they called the second one. How does that make sense? When I was watching this game, I was just thinking this ref had to be paid off. I'm not accusing the ref of anything. Personally, I don't think, I was thinking that, to be fair, but I don't actually think it was anything like, mischievous, if that makes sense. I think, like Bruno Fernandes said when he came out after the game, he said, he just didn't feel like the ref wanted to give a second pen to a team having given the first one already. Does that make sense? Because then it might start to seem like you're favorable towards one team. However, a pen's a pen. I don't care if you give a team 5 pens. If they're all deserved, you give them the pen because that's just fair football. That's how the game's supposed to be, right? It's not about you favoring one team. If it's a pen, it's a pen, and that was a clear pen, right? You can't two-hand shove a player off the ball without any attempt to go for the ball, mind you. I understand there's no contact, there's no leg contact, but you had no attempt to go for the ball. You went for the man. You shut him off the ball. Completely took it. Like, what? This isn't American football. I'm so confused. How would you not give that? He was right in front of it. He was literally bent over looking at it and did not call it. In seconds, 2 seconds that everyone thought he would call it, he did not call it. Bournemouth went and scored from that confusion. What sort of inconsistency are we seeing in 2026? That makes no sense. And to come away from that game just talking about the refereeing decision rather than talking about the actual football, because I thought United played well in the first half. I thought we played okay in the second half, but then obviously we get that red card. We're 10 men, one man down. We're not going to play as good, right? And I think ultimately that's why Bournemouth had more of the possession. They had 55%, where we had 45%, right? But we played so well, I thought, the first half. We definitely should have had a goal in the first half. We just didn't. But we knew it was coming if we continued like that. And for just the whole game to just kind of be killed with stupid refereeing decisions is just so annoying and just so disappointing. And it's just unfair. It's just unfair. We've seen this in the past when Klopp what was it? Klopp called out Man United, saying, "Oh, we're getting too many pens." Deserved pens, by the way. We went from getting we went from being the team with the most pens in the league to the worst, to the team with the least pens in the league, right? Frank Lampard, I believe, did the same thing when he called us out. Referees heard this and they started giving us pens. Ultimately, yes, referees are supposed to be unbiased. However, they are human, and you can't expect complete unbiased from them. You can't expect complete no emotion when making decisions. And in the game of football, I think it's one of them. Like football is one of them games where it's so like free. You're kind of free to do whatever. That some decisions are going to be different depending on the referee and that. But like this is just insane. Like you cannot. I don't care about the context, right? For me, the context should not matter. Because sometimes one thing you would see is that certain things that you might give a yellow, or a foul for out on the pitch, for example. Once that same thing happens inside the box, they might not call it because it's not big enough for a pen. But I think little inconsistencies like that should not be allowed. If it's a foul, it's a foul. Call it. I don't care if it's in the penalty box. I don't care if it's on the damn sidelines. You give coaches red cards for fuck's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like you give the game today against Arsenal versus Man City in the EFL final. Thank God Arsenal lost. But anyway, that game they literally gave Pep a red card for what? Or a yellow card for what? Kicking the chair. What did he do? He did something. Kicked the chair. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is, what it is. You have to give it. And sometimes we see these calls. If Ahmad was pushed outside the penalty box, he would 1000% call it. Is it just because he's in the box that he didn't call it? It's just so annoying. And I think United are actually going to launch an appeal because it was just so clear and so blatant. How do you get away with this? And what's even more annoying is the fact that they scored from that. Not only do you take away our chance to go 2-0 up, which completely changes the game, you also cause so much confusion that Bournemouth ends up scoring from that. And I think, first of all, it's very disappointing as a fan that's watching. It's probably very disappointing as a player, as a manager. Michael Carrick was furious by the time he came off during the press after the game. However, you also do need to put some accountability onto United players not to lose concentration. They lost concentration and they ended up getting scored on. It was a great finish, but at the same time, you need to maintain that concentration. Right? So I think United players do need to take some accountability. However, they were hard done by. And you have to recognize that. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's unfair, unjust. This needs to change. Something needs to happen. VAR is there for a reason. How does VAR not overturn that? You can't put two hands on someone, straight up push them off the ball and just not call a foul. Like, what kind of game is this? Okay, sure. If you're not going to call it, you're not going to call it. Some games are going to be like that. Some refs are like that. They prefer more of the rough play. They let things slide a little bit. But if you're gonna call that, at least be consistent. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna call those two hand shots, at least be consistent. Don't call Maguire's. But for me, Maguire's 100% a red. Is not red, but 100% a penalty for sure, right? If you're gonna call Maguire's, however, you have to call Ahmad without a doubt. It's a ridiculous game. It's a frustrating game. We ended up drawing. If you look where we are on the table, we're still third. Liverpool ended up Liverpool lost to Brighton. Fantastic. Chelsea lost 3-0 to Everton. Insane. That was insane. I did not expect that. They've lost 4 games in a row now. Good luck to Chelsea. Aston Villa unfortunately won today against West Ham, so they are 1 point behind us now. It's just so disappointing to lose like that. If we're gonna lose, at least be a shit team. Not through refereeing decisions. Credit to Bournemouth. I guess they deserve the draw. I think ultimately, United probably deserved the win slightly, ever so slightly, and that could be just my bias speaking. But I do think United probably deserved the win. But that being said, it is what it is. You have to look up to the next game. There needs to be an appeal. There needs to be some sort of complaint because, decisions like that are just so clear. I don't think we should let decisions like that slide, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I need to know: am I tweaking? Am I just being a United fan, a standard fan? Am I genuinely tweaking? Like, is it just me? Because I don't know. Like, what if you were neutral and this happened to your team? How would you feel? Versus I want to see the other perspective. If this isn't your team, so how do you feel? I need to understand this. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.